Welcome to Naresh Technologies. I'm Bangar Raju and this is a continuation series of our ASP.NET videos. So in the previous videos, I was explaining about what is a postback and postback events, cached events and all. So today we'll talk about one more thing called as cross-page postback. So much more clearly telling, I just want to clarify you what is a postback. Already we have been talking about in the previous videos, and also we'll just see about a cross-page postback. In a previous video, we learned postback. What is a postback? Postback means a page submitting the data back to itself is what we call as a postback. The page calling back itself is what we call as a postback, and in this process it will submit all the data of the page back to the same page. Okay, let me demonstrate this with a clear example. I want to design a login form. I wanted to design a login form, and this login form, so I'm just going to add a form, login form, postback. Fine. So what I'm expecting is a text box for entering the username, a text box for entering the password, and two buttons. One is a login button and one is a reset button. This is what I'm expecting. But see, unfortunately, what is the problem with HTML is, in Windows programming, we can just place the controls exactly at a particular location on a form. Exactly at a particular location on a form. But coming to web, we can't easily place the control exactly at a location on a web form. It is not possible. So what do we do? So generally, to overcome this problem, we'll be using some tables for designing the user interfaces. Okay, have a look. See, generally, I want two text boxes and two buttons for accepting the username password, and finally two buttons to just say login and reset. So let us design without any tables and all and see how the output will be. So first enter username, and I want a text box here. Okay, let's drag and drop the text box to make up the things faster. Next, enter password. Next, two buttons. One is a login button and one is a reset button. A login button and a reset button. So two buttons what I just have. Now run this. See, when you run this, the output, see, the alignments are not going to be good at all. One text box in alignment is one second text box element. They are not properly aligned, and that is very, very important in our application designing. See, the first look at the application should be very good. So eye-catching, it should be eye-catching. So we say a first impression is always a best impression. So exactly, when you look at it, say two text boxes only there, tomorrow 10 text boxes wrongly aligned, not properly aligned, it won't look good. So to do these alignments perfectly, so when you're designing your HTML forms, better take the help of tables. If you take the help of tables, the alignments and the layouts will be very perfect now. So let me design all these things with the help of the tables now. So how do we do that? I'm going to create a table that is going to contain 3 rows and 2 columns. Fine. Table. I'm not giving any borders. A tr. Yeah. I want each row with 2 columns. Fine. Now, in the first column, I want to display enter username. And in the second column, I want the text box. And we don't require a break now. Enter password. In the second row, first column. And the text box in the second row, second column. Again. One button here. See the difference now. see now the text box alignment is perfect, not only the text box, this button also, but actually this button we are expecting here. So that's very simple. Here simply for the first button, simply say align equals to right, and no need to run every time, go to design and see the output. You can see now. When I say align equals to right, it will align to the right hand side of the cell. It is aligned to the right side of the cell, okay. And apart from this, when you just use this tables, you can give some caption for a table. Caption, what's it? Login form. I get a caption over there on the top. And next I want the table to be in the center of my screen. Align equals to center. And now you run and see the output. See that. See the design now. It is more beautiful than what we had just been designed earlier without a table. So always make a habit of designing this with tables so that you will be getting a perfect layout and a perfect output. And when we use this align is equals to center align, we will be getting some warnings over there. Why? These are outdated. The attribute in HTML file is outdated. So what it tells is always asks us to write the style for us. Without this style equals to, and it will ask us to write, what's it? Here you will be finding align content, align items, align self. Like this, we'll be finding up different options. It will ask us to use this alignment options or a styling than going for using the traditional HTML attributes like align equals to center. No matter, let us use it, doesn't problem. So we can just use it like this. Okay. So fine. Now our everything is ready, and now come on. I'll tell you some few things about it. This text box is to accept the username. This text box is to accept the password. See, today 2 text boxes only there, not a problem. Text box 1, text box 2 are the names, we can just use it. But tomorrow when you have 10 or 20 text boxes on your screen, it is not easy to remember which text box is referring to which value. Suppose I have 20 text boxes. In this, one of the text boxes is accepting a phone number. And which text box is accepting the phone number, that's not easy to remember. So better what we do is give our own names to the controls. How? This is going to take the username. Better give the name as txt name. So understand, this text box is to accept the name. And this control name as txt password. To tell this text box is to accept the password value. Suppose tomorrow you have phone number text box, txt phone, email ID text box, txt email. And make sure that don't give lengthy names also. Okay. What is this txt? The txt is to tell this is a text box, and the name is to tell it's a name text box. The txt is to tell it is a text box, and the password is to tell it is a password text box. Like this, we just give names to this. Exactly. For buttons also, see the button here. For this also give a name, btn, to tell it is a button. And what is it? Login button. And here, btn. What is this? Reset button. So tomorrow, when we are writing the code, it will be easy to understand which text box is it, which button is it to identify. We just follow this process. Fine. Okay. Just follow the naming conventions also properly while designing the things. Fine. Now in this, I just want to do a small thing. What's it? Whenever the user clicks on the login button, I just wanted to do this. What is it? I want to verify the username and password, but we are still in the initial classes, and here we don't know how to work with the database and all. So basically we'll just try to do one thing. We'll see some static values. The username should be admin and the password should be admin. Both are admin and admin. I want to check that. If the user and password are both are admin, I want to display on screen valid user. Otherwise, I want to display on screen invalid user. This is what I want. So let us do this. If which control? Txt name dot text. What is txt name? Name of a control. What is text? The text property, which refers to the text value, is equals to, what is the value? Admin. And again, txt password dot text is equals to admin. Both are admin and admin. If both are admin, I simply want to say response.write valid user. Otherwise, response.write invalid user. Invalid user. Same as that, let us come to reset button, and in the reset button, let's do this. txt name.text is equals to txt password.text is equals to empty string. Both of them I am clearing off. And once everything is cleared, I want the focus to be coming into the name text box. How can I bring it? txt name dot, there's a method called focus. Just call the focus method, and once you call the focus method, the focus automatically comes into the text box. And by default in the page load, when the first request comes, if this dot is post back is equals to false. If this dot is post back is equals to false, means that is the first request. Or simply you can write if not this dot is post back. If it is not a post back, the meaning is if it is not a post back, means first request txt name dot focus. First time when the page is opened, I want the focus to be coming into the text box. So this is executing for the page load event, and the first time of the page load, the focus will be in the text box. Run it. I'm entering admin. This password, it should be a password text box. We made a small mistake. Let us correct this. Actually, when you're designing, just go to the second text box. There's the password text box. For the password text box, if you go to its properties, in the properties, we'll be finding a property called text mode. In the text mode, you'll be finding different modes how you can use the text box control. Choose password. So once you choose password, this is going to become a password, and this text box has various modes available. You can use any of the mode here. So it is going to be password. So once you make it password, your text box is going to become a password text box now. And when you run this, when you make it password, the size may be varying because of the font sizes and limitations and all, it may be varying. So this variation should not be coming out. Why? End user when he looks, everything should be perfect. So if you don't want this variation to be coming, what you do is better set a length for your controls. A common length for all the controls. Okay. So for both the text boxes, select at a time, go to properties, and you'll be finding a property called a width property. And the width property, let us give the width as 100, or otherwise let us give the width as 150. So now in the runtime, you'll see a uniform width. Once we change to password, maybe that variations can come. So to resolve it, better set the width. Yeah. Now I'm entering admin, wrong password. Click on login, showing invalid user. And I'm entering admin, click on login, I'm getting valid user. And basically this is a post back. What is this? Yes, it is a post back. We are submitting the data back to the same page. See, we have written all the logic under the same page only. So the data is getting submitted back to the same page, and we are getting the output from there. So this is what I was explaining in the previous videos about a post back and a post back submission. Post back means submitting the data or calling the page back of itself. A page calling itself back again is called as a post back. A page calling back itself, it is called as a post back. And in this we have a post back submission. What is that post back submission? Post back submission in the sense the data is submitted back to the same page. The page is calling itself and submitting the data to itself, and that's called as a post back submission. And now sometimes you can have a cross page post back. What is cross page post back? Cross page post back means a page is submitting itself and the data to another page is called as a cross page post back. So first, what is a post back? Post back means a page calling back itself and submitting its data to itself. Postback means a page calling back itself and submitting its data to itself. But what is a cross-page postback? A cross-page postback means a page calling and submitting data to another page. A page calling and submitting data to another page. It is a cross-page postback. But postback means a page calling back itself and submitting its data to itself, or otherwise a page calling back itself. This will be more correct. Postback means a page calling itself and submitting data to itself. But cross-page postback means a page calling and submitting data to another page. That is what we call as a cross-page postback. Right now, let us also just understand what is a cross-page postback and how to perform a cross-page postback. See, right now in the current login form, what is happening? The data validations are performed on the same page. On the same page, we are checking the valid user or invalid user. But I want to do this in another page. Means when I click on the login button, it has to go to another page, and on the other page the validations has to be done. So I want to create two web forms now. Here I created only a single web form. What is that? Login form postback.aspx. And now I want to create login form cross page postback.aspx. And this is going to submit the data to another page called as validate.aspx. So here I am going to enter my data and click on the login button, and the data has to be submitted to validate.aspx, where the verification has to be done if it's a valid user or not. Okay, so this is submitting the data from one page to another page. Let us try this. So login form cross page postback is what I want to create first. Add a web form, and I want to design this web form same as our previous web form, same as the previous web form. Okay, so let us come here, and I am going to copy the complete table data, copy it, and I am pasting it here. But one thing, remember, we have some event handlers for both the two things, for both the two buttons. Let me delete them here, because we only copied the design, not the CS code. So that's why I am deleting off this here. And you see now the design is exactly same like the previous one. Everything automatically copied. So now what I want to do, suppose when I click on first here, I am going to write the logic for reset. Same again, what's it? In the page load you write if not this dot is postback, if it is not a postback. And one more thing, this is not mandatory. Why? This is to refer to the current class. Even if you don't write this also, that works. You can simplify the code by writing if not is postback, txt name dot focus. And this is to reset. Txt name dot text is equals to txt password dot text is equals to empty string, and txt name dot focus, putting the focus back in. Fine, when you run this, it is exactly going to be same like the previous one. There is no difference. And see now, we are not calling the previous one, the current page. Previous one is login form postback. This is login form cross page postback. This is what we are calling. And by default the focus is here. And did we write any logic for the login button right now? No. So when I click, it is submitting the page to itself, because every button is capable of submitting the page back to itself. It will always submit the page back to itself. It will perform a postback. It will perform a postback. Okay, but I want this button to submit data to another page now. I want this button to submit the data to another page. If you want to submit your data to another page, we have various options that are available for submitting the data from one page to another page. Okay, first let me show you. using this button, I can submit the data to another page. How can I do this? Watch. I am not writing any logic for the button click. No logic for the button click. Go to the properties of the login button. Go to the properties of your login button. And in the properties of your login button, in the properties of the login button, you will be finding a property called post back URL and is empty right now. Now you can specify the name of a page here to whom the data has to be submitted. To whom the data has to be submitted. If you don't specify, it is always going to perform post back to same page, or it is always going to submit back to the same page. Means it is performing a post back, but we want to post the data to another page. If that is the case, you are required to specify the name of the page where the data has to be submitted. Actually, what is our plan? Our plan is to submit the data to validate.aspx. Unfortunately, the validate.aspx is not added in our project. Let us add it. Come on. I am adding a new web form. We'll call it as validate.aspx. Okay, what to do there we'll plan, but come back to the login. Yeah, we go to the properties of it, and in the properties, or the property post back URL, when you select this, you can see a button here. Click on the button. Once you click on the button, it will list you all the pages under your folder for us. Okay, it will list you all the pages which are present under the project. So now choose the page to whom the data has to be submitted. Which page? Validate.aspx. Select it, click OK, and you can see that. Tilde slash, what is the tilde? The tilde slash basically it represents a root folder under that validate.aspx. Okay, and when you go to source, it will write the code for you. See now, we don't have on click event here, but in the place we are writing post back URL is equals to, we are writing this. So what happens whenever I click on the button, the data gets submitted automatically to validate.aspx. I did not write any logic in the validate.aspx, we'll write it, but for the time being, the control is reaching here. To just understand the control is reaching here, for this body, I want to set some background color, bg color equals to some color. Okay, some color like yellow, only without opening a blank form. So just setting a color so that it opens the color. Yeah, when I click on the login, you can see it was going to validate.aspx. You can notice here, went to validate.aspx. Yeah, to notice the difference only, I just changed the color. So now the display color got changed. So it came here. Actually, my intention is not just only changing the color. I want to capture those values there, and I want to identify whether the username password are valid or not. Okay, come on, let's come here. And my intention is not changing the color, I am removing it. Just to understand it came there, I changed it. Go to view code, and here I want to capture the values. How can I capture the values? Understand, the values are coming from one page to another page. When the values are coming from one page to another page, you can't access the values of the controls directly. In the sense, I cannot say txt name and I cannot access the values. First see, IntelliSense is not showing. Why cannot access? Because these controls are not present on the current class. They are present in the previous class. What is the previous class? Login from cross paste postback. Okay, I'm sorry, we wrongly named it as login form cross paste postback. Okay, so it is a login form cross paste postback. Okay, so this is the actual form or actual class what we have, and here we have the text boxes. But right now where are we? We are in validate aspx.cs, and the values has to be accessible in this class, but you can't access them. Why? All they are the members of that class, and in this class we can't access. Then how can I get the values? Listen, you need to capture the values like this. Request dot form of, give the name of the control. What is the control name? txt name. This refers to the text box, and this is going to return you the value. This is going to return you the value. So what you can do, you can directly call string name is equals to, and you can capture the value. Same as that, string password is equals to request dot form of txt password. So these are the names of our controls in the previous form, and we are just going to read the values like this. And once you get the values, now you can write your logic. If name equals to admin and password is equals to admin, if both these two are admin, response dot write valid user, else response dot write invalid. So now run back your login form, cross paste post back. We named it wrong. It is login form, wrongly typed. You just correct it. Somewhere with a mistake. Somewhere we wrongly typed it. No issues. Fine. The login form got opened, and now I am going to enter the username as admin and wrong password. When I click on the login, see now it goes to validate and showing you as invalid user. Or if I come back and enter admin, if I click on login, it goes there and displays you as valid user. So this is what we call as a cross page post back, submitting the data from one page to another page. Okay. So I was trying to differentiate actually what is the difference between a post back as well as a cross page. Post back means a page calling and submitting data to itself. A page calling and submitting data to itself. Calling and submitting data to itself, calling and submitting data to another page. That is what we call as a cross page post back. Okay. So these are the two different types of post backs what we are provided in our web application development. Thank you for watching the videos. For more videos, please subscribe to our YouTube channel, Naresh IT.